Jesus.
Yeah, I just looked at his and I put the same thing. It's been a long day.
That was funny. Hey, Chief. How are you? Doing good. Yourself?
Hey, Chief.
Good.
All right, Danielle.
All right. Oh, this shut off. One sec. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your name, your full name, and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you. Tonight we got our regular board meeting, but we also have a public hearing for 21 Milton Turnpike Water District Extension for the Marlborough Resort. Before we get to the public hearing, let's please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those who lost their lives protecting our country and giving us the ability to serve our country and our town. Thank you. Okay, so like I say, before we start the regular board meeting for tonight, we have a public hearing on 21 Milton Turnpike Water District Extension Marlborough Resort. Marlborough Resort is the project that's going in between Latin Town Road and Ridge Road. It's been through the planning board process. They had a public hearing also in the planning board. They have preliminary approval for site plan already, contingent upon, one of the contingencies is this agreement. I'll give you some of the background on the agreement and then we'll take questions if there's any. The gist of the agreement is they're going to be entering the water district approximately 50 to 65,000 gallons per day is what they anticipate, but realistically that's the number that you calculate on the engineering based on water flows, but technically they're probably only going to be used 25,000 gallons a day because they use all of the energy efficient and low flush type fixtures in the facility. So they will be putting the 65,000 approximate holding tank up there for their daily needs or in case of fires. They'll also be putting fire hydrants throughout the facility. In lieu of them coming into the district, they will be paying the district $600,000 over a 3-year period and 3 installments of $200,000 apiece. The first payment would come when they ask to be hooked up to the district or if they take out a building permit. At that time, they would be paying $200,000. That's the trigger point. After that, it would be a year. They have a year and a half from that point to pay the second $200,000, and then from that they have a year and a half to pay the remaining $200,000. So it's within 3 years they have to pay the $600,000 from when they start. They also have a grace period to actually start the project of 2 years. So we've had, I think a lot of people in here understand, we've had projects in the past that got preliminary approval and then never started the project. And then somewhere down the road, someone comes in 12, 13 years later and wants the same deal that we negotiated 13 years later, but prices have gone up, but their contract's is still valid. So to get away from that, I put in there a 2-year start, which means within 2 years, if they don't start, the contract's null and void, and they have to renegotiate a new contract with the town to get back into the water district. So that's the whole gist of the whole contract. So at this time, I have anybody from the public that wants to make a statement, come on up. You got 3 minutes. Again, remind people this is not a back and forth question and answer session. It's public hearing to let us know your opinion on the, so anybody? Okay. So having had nobody have a public hearing, I'm going to ask the board to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to get to our regular board meeting of the month, February 10th. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the January 27th, 2025 Town Board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 27, 2025 Town Board meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Motion to approve the minutes from the January 27th, 2025 public hearing.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of, from January 27th, 2025 public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Authorized payment of bills in the amount of $2,447,328.71. And I'll give the public a breakdown of why that's so high again, beginning of the year. We are the collector of taxes for districts, so at this time we pay out the districts for their for the collection that we collect the taxes for them. So Sarah Hole Library in Milton here is $189,200. The Marlborough Fire District gets $1,098,400. The Milton Fire District gets $838,025. And we have three payments to different contractors at the Highway Department for $190,698. So all those things combined is $2,316,323. So if you take that away from the 2.44732,871, realistically our bills for this month were $131,005. So which is typical. So just to give you a breakdown, again, the beginning of the year is a big time for payments. So this should be the last big one, except for payments for the Highway Department. So I need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion, authorize the payment of bills of $2,447,328.71, I guess.
Yes, that's it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Thank you. Anybody have any comments on the agenda? No? Anybody have any questions on reports of departments of anybody from the board? Jerry, you got anything from your department? Or Charlie, since you're both here, that you want to talk about? It's urgent? Or we're good?
Nothing in my department. I do want to comment on the UT section when we get to that.
Okay. All right. And Danielle, as far as taxes, I know we've been having a pretty good season so far. It's not the best season for a lot of people, but it's what we need to do to operate the town. So I think it's been going pretty good. So, all right. So if no one on the board has any other questions on reports or departments, I'm going to move on. We have no presentations tonight. I don't have any old business to speak about. I do have some new business from the planning board. So the planning board, as you know, they look at multi-dwelling and parking spaces. In our code, it's 1.5 spaces per unit. They were asking if we wanted to consider looking at changing the amount of parking spaces based on per room instead of per unit. So like if you had like a 3-bedroom, would you want to make it 2.5 places? Or if you had a 2-bedroom, would you want to make it 2 spaces? Now, my opinion on this, I talked to the code enforcement officer too, and I called a couple of the supervisors. 1.5 is the state minimum. It's what most towns use. I don't think the town has had any issues technically with the 1.5 space requirement. So I'm really hesitant to want to change this for just, it looks like it's to a specific builder that's in front of the planning board at this point, and I understand where they're coming from, but I don't want to make a change just based on one application if we haven't seen any issues otherwise. I mean, because we could really get picky and say, look, we're giving 5 spaces along the hamlet, in the hamlets for every single business in there, and they're all sharing the same space, right? So they don't technically all have 5 spaces, although we give them credit for 5 places. So I'm just trying to get your opinion. What do you guys think of this? I mean, the planning board asked about it.
This
so.
is for what now? This is for
So
businesses?
multi-dwelling units.
Oh, multi-dwelling.
So when you build a multi-dwelling complex, do we want to consider, I guess, a sliding scale of some sort of if you have more apartments?
Can it be project specific? In other words, if it's a senior housing project, I don't think we should have to do
Well,
it.
yeah, no.
But if it's a 3-bedroom
Correct.
complex, I think we should address it.
Yeah, I mean, we could exclude senior housing, because I would assume, I'm assuming you're getting at, is senior housing aren't going to have many
No,
cars, right, if any. Whereas if you have a 3-bedroom apartment, yeah, it could have 2 cars or even 3 cars, right? So I mean, I get what they're getting at. I just haven't seen that we've had an issue with this yet. Now, having said that, we're starting to get more of these complexes, right? So again, I'm open to whatever you guys think. And we could-
I think for a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom, they should have at least 2 parking. Parking is starting to be a problem.
it's a big problem. So if
It
you're going to put
is.
developments in like that, I think might be a good idea to
And I want to give a compliment to the town clerk's office, because parking right here, it's always a problem in the town hall. And I came to pay my taxes, and they have 2 spots there in the front just for the taxpayer, because I couldn't park anywhere. And I was able to, so that was good forward thinking there. But we should do something with the parking up there. It's definitely get congested. Yeah, I would definitely think for future planning that, again, for 2 to 3 bedroom, definitely 2 parking spots, because, I mean, I have my sister who lives in Bayside now. She has 4 kids. She has a 3-bedroom, and all 4 of them drive,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
So
I get it. It's tough.
And when you go up there and visit, it's
Yeah,
hard.
it's tough.
It's tough. So the parking is definitely,
I mean, I'll ask, what I'll do is, I mean, you guys can give me back feedback through email if you want, or I will ask the planning board to give us back their recommendations on specifics. Like, they just kind of like blanketly said they had a discussion about it. They didn't give me like any kind of sliding scale that they came up with. But since they're planning board, I would think they have a little more insight on what they're looking at wanting.
I would say that for a 2-bedroom apartment, 1.5 parking is reasonable, and then for a 3-bedroom apartment, 2 parking lots.
Yeah.
It's definitely
So the only thing
reasonable
is,
as well.
we'll have to, well,
that'd be
because it
my-
does come into like density on the property and how much property you have, and now you're dedicating more space towards parking, right? So it could technically reduce the size of a complex. Not to say that's a bad thing, but, you know, if you only have X amount of acres, right, to build these complexes, and you're eating it up with parking, it could reduce the complex's footprint, which again, they could say, okay, well, we're going to go to the town up here that doesn't require that. So I don't want to also become a uncompetitive town
well, that's why I'm saying
based
let's
on
make it,
other towns having.
let's
one
make
and
it
a half.
project and site specific and
Right.
take it from there.
Well, you can't do just specific sites and say, you can't do that. You could say that multifamily units other than senior citizen housing,
Okay.
but you can't say, well, this project you have to do it, and this project you can't do it within multifamily dwellings in the R1 district or something like that, right? You can't do that. But you can exclude senior housing if you put it in a code, right?
Like I said, I think that what I
So I
just
don't
stated,
disagree with a
it's
three-bedroom.
fair.
I mean, a three-bedroom, I would think saying 2 spaces is an unrealistic ask.
It is an unrealistic, or it is?
It's not an unrealistic
Okay,
ask. So, all right, so I'll give that feedback to the planning board and then see what they come up with. If they come up with anything different. I mean, I think that would be where if I was going to make a change, I would agree with you guys that, you know, if you got a three-family, we should at least extend it to 2 parking spots. Something like that.
Mhm.
But, is that what you're thinking, Dave?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
All right, so I'll get back to the chairman and give him some of our feedback, and we'll go from there. But, okay. Does anybody else have any other new business that you want to bring up, besides the storms? All right, then we're going to get to correspondence. What do I got here? All right, so good afternoon. I am reaching out about the Town of Marlborough Community Center North Side. I work for Cornell Local Roads Program. We are holding a snow and ice workshop in Ulster County on September 30th, 2025. And I was given your community center as a possible location for my all-day workshop by David Orr, the director for my program. We are a non-for-profit organization, and attendees for the workshop are located within Ulster County. I have attached a flyer for you in case you need more information. Thank you, and this is Jody Angelino, events coordinator. This is snow and ice operations, local highway officials.
Snow and ice workshop, is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, they're not Marlborough-specific residents. They didn't actually ask in that email also to waive the fee, so I assume that's what they're asking, although they didn't ask it.
Yeah, I had asked her to reconstruct an email, and she left that part out, but yes, they left it in charge. They're a not-for-profit, so.
They're not for profit. I'm just a little, I mean, me personally, I'm a little hesitant to
Not-for-profit,
just
it's cost,
start
it's
opening up
$60?
the community center
Where are
to
they from?
anybody.
Where are they from?
It's an Ulster County.
Yeah, but each,
community.
they're charging $60 per attendee.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
but
what-
what organization
That's
are
not
they?
a
And where are
non-profit
they
at
from?
all.
It just says Ulster County, right? I don't have it in front of me.
It's New York State, it's a Cornell Local Road Program.
I don't know, I'm not comfortable with that. You're
I'm
gonna open
open
this
to
door
more.
up, everybody and their brother's gonna start coming in and wanna use the place for nothing.
Well, that's where,
I mean, I get if it's a Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or, you know, stuff like that, absolutely.
I mean, it's
but
a
don't
good
know.
cause, but one of the things we were actually looking at doing for the community center to make some revenue was for things like this.
Exactly,
But that they pay
yeah.
for the use of the facility, you know.
This
So-
isn't a tent that's outside. This is a facility that a lot of communities don't have, and not for nothing, listen, you want to put on a good event? If it's, you know, certain things, I agree, we could waive the fee, but we can't start waiving the fee
No,
every
I
time
get-
somebody comes through the door.
I agree. That's why I was saying the same thing. If it's a Marlborough
Absolutely, if it's a local,
organization, in-house, I mean, it's just kind of like what the school does. If you're not a totally Marlborough organization, you pay for their facilities. That's the way it is. So, you know, my opinion is, I would say no. So I don't know what you guys, if you want to take a vote on it, but
It's very informative workshop. It's, especially for, you know, for hazardous, you know, condition for maybe your group, Mickey, will want to attend
I'm not saying
this.
it's not a good cause, but the bottom line is, it's not a Marlborough organization.
She named John Watkins, that's probably a highway department thing, he might have things.
John didn't mention anything about this to me. I mean, look,
can I see it?
you can vote whatever you want. I vote no.
Can you move on to the next thing where I review this, or?
Oh, yeah, sure, Dave. Go ahead, Dave. All right.
I think it's a really good workshop. How about if we reduce it 50%?
It's a great workshop.
Huh?
It's a great workshop, but again,
How-
it's a Marlborough Community Center. It's not an Ulster County Community Center. Did Ulster County pay for it? No, the Marlborough residents paid for it. So if you want to have an event here, if you're not in Marlborough, my opinion is you have to pay for it. Unfortunately, that's the way it should be. Why should the Marlborough residents of the town of Marlborough subsidize an out-of-district
Or-
event?
Or if Marlborough residents get to the tent for free, that's an option.
No, that'd be like the school. You have to have 80% of the people that go are Marlborough residents. If you don't have 80% of the people in any of those organizations, you have to pay at the school. That's the way it is. Again, the taxpayers of the town shouldn't have to pay for outside organizations, even though they're a great organization, I agree. They are charging $60 a head.
Yeah, that's where I'm confused. If it's a not-for-profit and it's for the welfare of the community, why are they charging?
So charge $65 a head and pay for the building.
I mean, I don't have a problem giving a reduced rate, possibly. But I don't know if
Again,
I'm
we're
on
opening
board
up
with,
Pandora's box.
yeah, because
A
this
reduced
is,
rate
it absolutely will.
anyone from Marlborough will get 50% off.
Let me go to, you're still looking, or you?
No, I'm good. I just, like I said, I would agree to a reduced rate, but I don't think I want to agree to a waive the fee. I mean, there's a lot, we put,
More like this too, so,
oh, absolutely.
yeah, I just got a call today. So
What's that?
I just got a call today from someone else from New York State wanting to use the community center. So if you guys reduce the rate, then we'll have to probably reduce the rate for,
My
Everyone, I
feeling is
guess?
if you start
I don't-
reducing the rate for
So,
one,
I don't know
and
how
it's
to
not
work that.
uniform, you're
Yeah.
gonna start having issues.
Is there an out-of-town rate and a resident rate?
Yes.
So if you're gonna reduce the rate, go to a resident rate. And that, you know what I'm saying? If that's an option. I tend to agree with you guys. But otherwise,
Make a motion. I don't care.
everybody throughout New York State's gonna wanna use this.
Of course they are, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm saying, I'd rather see a reduced rate than no rate.
A resident rate sounds good to me.
Make a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion that any state or county group that wants to use a community center can ask permission to get a reduced rate down to residential, to a resident,
A resident.
same rate as a resident.
I
Other than the
I
out-of-town
should-
rates.
I should know this, but what is the
Oh, boy.
What's
I
the
still don't have it in my
resident
head.
rate?
versus,
$550.
what's
that's the resident rate?
Yep.
What's the out-of-town
Well,
rate?
600 with the fee, with the other fee. So
$850. We changed it this year.
6 and
650
9,
to
say
850.
6 and 9 because of the cleaning fee. So,
No, I reduced the rate this year by $50, and it's in there. It's $550.
So
For
out of
resident
town
rate.
is 550 and
No, resident is 550, out-of-town is, what, 850 you said?
Well, it's $550 and $850.
So it would go from 850, it's a $300 savings is what it equates to.
so
Yeah.
I'm making a motion to give them the resident rate of 550 if they'd like to use the community center.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
I'll give it, you guys want it, we'll get it. It's okay, as long as we're making some revenue.
It's better than
As long as
zero.
we're covering, look, we got a cleaning person that goes in there.
Well,
4 times
that's
a
what I'm
week.
thinking about. It's gonna cost us money.
We got electric bills, we got gas
Yeah.
bills, we got to pay for things, so,
It's not unreasonable.
the residence rate it is.
I agree.
Town of Marlborough Republican Committee,
Ooh.
Town of Marlborough Town Board, Milton, New York. Didn't I do this one already? The Town of Marlborough Republic Committee would like to use the new community center for our town caucus on the 12th of June this year. Oh, Tom's being proactive, huh? We also would like to have the fee for the use of the facility waived. If all possible, thank you for your time and consideration on this request. Sincerely, Thomas Coupart, Chairman of the Marlborough Committee. So again, this is a local committee, so this is one that we have allowed in the past. So do we want to allow the caucus to be there on June 12th? And it's available. Danielle, have you looked on that yet?
I imagine he checked
So
yeah, I don't know offhand. But
I would say as
imagine he
long as
checked with
the
Emily.
date is available. What do you guys think?
I'll make a motion to allow the Republican Committee to have their caucus there on June 12th, as long as the space is available.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye, so moved. All right. All right, this is from, this is to me and the board. With your permission, the Marlborough United Soccer Club for Marlborough Elementary School students would like to request the use of the lower Round Pond Cluett-Chance Park fields for our spring 2025 recreational youth soccer program Saturdays in April through May from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The specific dates are 4/12/25, 4/19, 4/26, 5/3, 5/10, 5/17, 5/24, and 5/31. Regarding insurance, we are a member of the Hudson Valley Youth Soccer League, formerly East Hudson Youth Soccer League, and will be providing through the league for the field and players. It is currently on file with the town clerk. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please contact me. Regards, Dan Heavens, Marlborough Youth Soccer Club. So this is in April and May, which I don't interferes with any of the other activities, especially since it's on the lower field, or any of the recreational activities we have planned. So those are all available, right?
The dates were all available. Colleen let me know that she had them all written in, and that there was a discussion about whether they would pay or not, depending on how many Marlborough players or something that they had. And it seemed like they were fine either way. They don't 100% know how many Marlborough players there will be at, so.
I can speak on, I'm on the board for the, I'm sorry, for the Marlborough United Soccer Club. We're handing over, we're taking over because the old, manager, she's done with it, she did it for like 14 years. And we were thinking we would just have Marlborough residents only, and hopefully no fee for the field, if possible.
So I'll make a motion that we waive the fees for the Marlborough United Soccer Club for the dates that they requested.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, so moved. This one was from Atima ODZA. This is on 1770 Route 9W, Milton. It's the complex right across from Willow Tree. Attention Marlborough Town Board Supervisor, I'm a property owner at 1770 Route 9W, Milton, New York, 12547. I'm writing this letter as a request and a petition to the office, the Greater Town Board, to extend the sewer district in connection to my property. As a housing provider in the Milton area, this would be an opportunity to provide better service and housing to residents in the area and contribute to affordable housing in the neighborhood. As a property owner, I assume the cost of all connections and work to connect it to my property for the town sewer would be on me. Measurements for the property to the current sewer system is approximately 290 feet. I would like to thank this office for taking the time to consider this request and wish you well. And so there's nothing we have to do here. This is just a formal request. What I'm going to do is I will send this to our attorney, but there's a lot of things that this individual would have to do in order to formally come into the district, or asked to come into the district. So I just wanted to read it as a correspondence, and I will get back to you guys. But you're okay with me sending this to our attorney?
No. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So that's all I got for correspondence. Nobody from Jerry's office left this week. That's good. All right. So here we go. Public comments. Public comments. Anybody got public comments? Yay. All right. Quiet crowd tonight. I like it. Must be because Sheridan and Eddie aren't here. So we're going to go on to resolutions. Resolution 33 to appoint a part-time police dispatcher supervisor. Clerk proposes the following. Whereas the town of Marlborough Police Department has an open position for a part-time police dispatcher, and whereas the recommendation of the chief of police to appoint Caden Cabrera, be resolved that Caden Cabrera be appointed to effective immediately and moves for its adoption.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Resolution 34 to accept the gift from Apex Consultant Services. So this is our copier consultant. They insisted on giving us, they wanted to buy lunch for the town hall, and I was like, well, we have to do it by resolution. That's fine if you want to do that, but this is what this is about. So Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following. Whereas Apex Consultant Services gave the town of Marlborough a $300 gift card for appreciation lunch, now therefore be resolved the town board of the town of Marlborough hereby accepts said donation and moves for its adoption.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I've left that donation with Tina. It's in my office, and so when we have our next luncheon, that's where it's going to come from our copier company, Apex. So thanks to Apex. Resolution 35, to amend the fee schedule. This came from the planning board and the secretary, that fees have been a little low, and we've been having issues with certain applicants, let's say. So there was a recommendation, although it was after the fee schedule, to do these changes, and this is what these fees are, and we'll go through them. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following. Whereas the town of Marlborough maintains a fee schedule that is approved annually reorganization meeting, and whereas the town of Marlborough Planning Board requested some fees to increase, be it resolved the town board intends to amend the fee schedule to increase the following escrow fees. So these are application fees first. Single-family home subdivision, $750 to $1,000. That's the change. Anything in bold you see is the change. Multifamily apartment condo, $750 to $1,000. Commercial subdivision, $600 to $1,000. Commercial site plan, $1,000 to $2,000. Minor site plan, $350 to $500. All the other site plan reviews, $550 to $1,000. Simple two-lot line revision, $600 to $1,000. Escrow deposits, and this is where we really have some issues. Residential subdivision, single family in town, $1,500 to $2,500. Residential site plan, multifamily condos, $1,500 to $2,500. Commercial subdivision, $1,000 to $2,500. Commercial site plan, $2,000 to $3,000. Minor site plan, $750 to $1,500. All other site plan reviews, $15 to $2,000. Simple two-lot subdivision, $1,000 to $2,000. Preliminary conceptual site plan, $300 to $500. And again, this, we have a lot of issues as of late tracking down people to keep up with their escrow accounts, and why you're seeing some of these changes. So hopefully the secretary doesn't have to keep chasing people. So moves for its adoption.
Councilman Kauke,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 36 to adopt the New York State Climate Smart Communities Pledge Element 9, climate change education and engagement, and commit to partnering with Cornell Cooperative. Now this was, it's a new resolution, so it comes up as a new resolution, but this is the one we tabled last meeting that Councilwoman Sessions wanted to review, and she did, and she rewrote it, and the board was okay with this wording, and this is where the resolution has come from. So Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following. Whereas the town of Marlborough has taken the Climate Smart Community Pledge, and whereas the town of Marlborough recognizes its responsibility to the community to save money and conserve protect our natural resources while building livable, energy-independent, and secure communities and resilient infrastructures. And therefore, be it resolved that the town of Marlborough adopts the New York State Climate Smart Communities Pledge Element 9, climate change education and engagement, and commits to partnering with Cornell Cooperative Extension, Ulster County, to develop a web page for the town website addressing climate action and emergency preparedness by presenting information, photographs, resources, and links to residents, and by hosting up to 6 social media posts to inform town residents of the new resources. Be it further resolved that all content, including text, images, social media posts, must be pre-approved by the town board before being published or shared publicly. So Mickey, on that, would send it to me and the board, and then we'll say yay or nay, basically. That's okay?
As long as that last paragraph wasn't changed, I was trying to find it, but it sounds like it's right.
Yeah.
There's some wording there.
The last paragraph is basically almost the same. We changed from 12 social media posts to 6. That's one. So that's what the,
Well, we have to include for 6 more, if that's what we're not.
yep. And moves for its adoption. Yep.
Councilman Kauki,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran,
Yes. Resolution 37, to authorize the filing of negative declaration. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following. Secret negative declaration, notice of determination of non-significance. Whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board proposes to extend the Town of Marlborough Water District in the Town of Marlborough, Ulster County, New York, the action, and whereas extension of the Town of Marlborough Water District, the Water District, is a condition of approval of the site plan and special use permit for the resort hotel project located in the County of Ulster, Town of Marlborough, at 626 Latin Town Road and 255 Ridge Road, SBL numbers 102.4-3-8.8.320, 102.4-2-12, 102.4-2-13, and 102.4-2-29, the property, granted by the Town Planning Board on December 16, 2024. And whereas the property is currently known as St. Herbert's Lodge, a club, and is not serviced by municipal water supply, and whereas the property is not completely within the water district, parcel identified in this section is 102.4, Block 3, Lot 8.320, Section 102.4, Block 2, Lot 12, Section 102.4, Block 2, Lot 13 are not in the water district. The parcels identified as Section 102.4, Block 2, Lot 29 are partially within the water district, within the remainder being outside the boundaries of the water district. And whereas on January 23rd, 2025, the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough received the petition from Marlborough Resort LLC, the owner of the property, for extension of the Town of Marlborough Water District to include property extended district and to enable the property to be provided with potable water by the water district. And whereas the petition included a map plan resort in accordance with the town law, section 192, and whereas on February 10th, 2025, the town board held a public hearing on the petition in accordance with town law, section 193, and whereas the determination of non-significance, i.e. negative declaration, is prepared in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law of New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and is implementing regulations set forth in 6 NYCRR Part 617 regulations, and whereas the action there are no potential adverse impacts of significance that were not already identified and assessed within the SECRA review of the resort hotel site plan and special use permit application, and whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board is directly undertaking review of the action, and whereas the name and address of the agency is the Town of Marlborough Town Board, 21 Milton Turnpike, Milton, New York, 12547, and responsible officer is Scott Corcoran, the Town of Marlborough Town Supervisor, with the telephone number of 845-795-2220. And whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board has classified this action as an unlisted action pursuant to 6 NYCRR Part 617 of the regulations, and whereas the owner submitted a short environmental assessment review, SEAF Part 1, and the Town of Marlborough Town Board has caused the preparation of SEAF Part 2 and 3 for review of the action. And whereas the Town Board has reviewed the action and all relevant supporting information, documents, has identified the relevance areas, environmental concerns, has compared with responsibility, expected results of the action within the criteria set in 6 NYCRR Section 617.7, and has determined that there is no significant adverse environmental impacts associated with the proposed action have been identified. The board offers the following information supporting the substance of the determination. I'm not going to read all these here, unless anybody wants me to keep reading. Now therefore be resolved that the Town of Marlborough Town Board has examined the impacts which may be reasonably anticipated to result from the action, and has determined that these actions will not have any significant adverse impacts on the environment, and that a draft environmental impact statement not need be prepared. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough hereby issues the negative declaration pursuant to the requirements of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and be it further resolved that the Town of Marlborough Town Board hereby authorizes the following negative declaration. The foregone resolution was voted upon with all councilmen voting as follows.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes.
Councilperson Kauki?
Yes.
Councilperson Zambito?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 38, to approve the extension of the Town of Marlborough Water District. Supervisor Clark proposes the following for extensions of the Town of Marlborough Water District after public hearing. Whereas the Town Board has received a petition of Marlborough LLC for extension of the boundaries of the Town of Marlborough Water District and Water District previously established under Article 12 of the Town Law of the State of New York, the Water District. And these are all the same properties. I'm not going to read all these again. Basically, you have a negative deck, and now you're going to the actual extension acceptance. It's the same parcels of land. And whereas the Town Board on January 23rd, 2025 accepted the proposed map plan and reported the Pisario Engineering Architecture dated September 16, 2024, and last reviewed January 9, 2025, the map plan and resort, and adopted an order directing the town clerk to publish and post a notice for the public hearing and water district extension in accordance with town law, section 193. And whereas the public hearing on the proposed water district extension was held on February 10, 2025. And whereas prior to the adoption of the resolution, the Town Board received short environmental assessment forms Part 1, 2, and 3, issued negative declaration pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA. And whereas upon consideration of petition, the map and resort to doc and comments made at the public hearing, the Town Board makes a determination in accordance with Town Law, Section 194, hereinafter and set forth. And these are all the things labeled. Number 5. And resolved that the Town Board does hereby approve the extension of the Town of Marlborough Water District, that the improvements described in map plan resort be constructed and the services thereon described be provided upon the request, funds being made available or provided for, and that the district extension be described as shown on the Water District map and identified by tax parcel numbers as set forth in the map plan resort attached as Schedule A hereto. And foregone resolution was voted upon with all the councilmen voting.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes.
Councilperson Kauki?
Yes.
Councilperson Zambito?
Yes.
Thank you. And finally, this is the actual agreement to hook into the water district, the one I explained earlier about the $600,000 payment. Resolution 39, authorized supervisor to sign a water district contribution and capital expenditure agreement. Supervisor Corcoran proposed the following. Resolution authorizing a water district contribution and capital expenditure project. Councilman, one of you guys? Couchy offered the following resolution, which was seconded by
Dave.
Councilman Zambito, who moved for its adoption. And again, this is all the resorts section and block numbers of all the land parcels. Explaining the district extension, a lot of the repetitive stuff that we had in the last resolutions. Whereas the form of the agreement has been reviewed and approved by the attorney by the town, and whereas it is the best interest of the town to enter the agreement, now therefore resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough approves of the terms of the agreement in the form attached hereto in Schedule A and authorizes the town supervisor to execute the agreement on behalf of the town. And foregone resolution was duly put to vote, which resulted in the following. And again, just to be clear, there's a 2-year grace period that they have. The contract can be null and void after the 2 years if they don't start. If and when they take a building permit out or they request to hook into the water district, the first $200,000 payment is required. A year and a half from there, the second $200,000 payment is required. And a year and a half from that, the final $200,000 payment is required, which is 3 years max. So the clock starts ticking from the moment they either decide to hook into the water district or take out a building permit, and then from that point, they have 3 years to pay. So that's the nuts and bolts of the agreement. So, and that money will be set into an account for district improvements that will be used for what the district needs in the future. Either it could be a new water tank that we may need to put in, or it's looping systems, or it's fixing the existing systems. It could be used, but it has to be used for district infrastructure, okay? And put the vote.
Lost my place. Oh, where'd it go?
You lose your seat, Danielle?
I'm getting there. Councilman Kauki.
Yes.
Councilman Zambito.
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran.
Yes.
Thank you.
And here's Part A. This is the actual agreement. Section 5 is the main section. This is the section here with the 600,000 payment. First payment of 200,000. Second 200, third 200. All right. It's a long agreement. Worked on this agreement for a year and a half. So that's what we got. Resolution 40. We need a part-time, what's it called, detective. And Bruce has, I don't know if willingly or unwillingly, has decided he will do this for us as part-time. I think everybody knows Bruce Griffin, excellent police officer. And he's a part-time officer, but he's also going to take on the part-time detective. So that's what this resolution is. Resolution 40, to promote a part-time police officer to part-time police detective. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following: whereas there is an open position for a part-time detective in the town of Marlborough Police Department, and whereas the recommendation of the Chief of Police to promote Bruce Griffin to the position, be resolved that Bruce Griffin be promoted to part-time detective effective immediately, and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Kauki.
Yes.
Councilman Zambito.
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran.
Yes. And Manny, I'll give you the honors tonight.
Okay, it's 7:48, and I'm making a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thanks, everybody.